Welcome to Banks iDash and Derringer ownership. It's time to get familiar with your Banks iDash and Derringer. This is a very brief tutorial to get you up and running. We're just going to scratch the surface of what this powerful instrument is capable of. After it boots up, you'll notice that by default, the iDash is configured in an 8-gauge layout, 4 gauges on the left and 4 gauges on the right. Now you can adjust the Derringer's power levels using the up and down arrows. Here we'll go up to level 6, which is max power. However, for Derringer owners, we recommend you try a different gauge configuration called the Derringer layout. To access the Derringer layout, press the right arrow, which is your menu and select button. The first selection is gauge layout. Select gauge layout by pressing the right arrow key again. Then scroll down until you see Derringer. Select the Derringer layout by once again using the right arrow key. You'll see 3 configurable gauges on the left-hand side and a vertical bar graph on the right. This bar graph will display the Derringer's added power in real time. At the bottom of the screen, you'll notice we're in Derringer power level 6. To lower the level, simply press the down arrow. You'll go down levels one step at a time until you reach stock. Now you have a great window into how much power your Derringer is adding with the vertical bar graph on the right side. And you can easily change power levels as you drive by using the up and down keys. Changing any of these 3 gauges is simple. First, press the right arrow to enter the menu. Then scroll down one level to gauge selection. Then select gauge selection with the right arrow. Since we already have engine coolant temp on our dashboard, it's a little redundant to have it on the iDash. So let's replace engine coolant temp with something else. Scroll down to Field 3, ECT for engine coolant temp. Select it using the right arrow key. Now you'll see category and group. We've given you 2 ways to view the same parameters. For the sake of this tutorial, we'll select category using the right arrow. Then we'll scroll all the way down to temperature. We'll select temperature using the right arrow key. Then we'll scroll down to transmission temperature. There it is, transmission fluid temperature. We'll select it using the right arrow key. Now, when we back out to the home screen using the back button, you'll see trans temp in the 3rd gauge toward the bottom. It's 131 degrees Fahrenheit. You'll use this same method for changing any of the gauges. Let's say you want to change boost to coolant temp. Press the right arrow. Press again on gauge selection. We'll scroll up to Field 1 boost since that's what we want to replace. And then select Field 1. Select category. Now we'll scroll down to temperature and select it using the right arrow. Oops, not speed. We want temp. There we go. Then we'll scroll all the way down until we see engine coolant temp. We'll select engine coolant temp using the right arrow, and then we'll back all the way out to our home screen and boom, engine coolant temp on the top gauge. And this is a nice coincidence. Since you're new to owning a Derringer tuner and iDash, you may not be aware that Derringer will not add power until the coolant temp has reached 160 degrees Fahrenheit. We do this for safety. We don't want to add any power to a cold engine. If you have a PedalMonster, you can control both the PedalMonster and Derringer from the very same screen on the iDash. This is one of our favorite gauge layouts. To navigate to it, enter the menu using the right selection button, go to Gauge Layout, select Gauge Layout, and then scroll down to Derringer PedalMonster. Select it using the right arrow again, and boom. On the left-hand side of the iDash, you'll see PM for PedalMonster, and on the right, you'll see DER for Derringer. By default, you'll control the PedalMonster since it's on the left and we read from left to right. This means that the up and down arrows will increase or decrease PedalMonster's sensitivity. We're going down from Sport to City and ultimately down to Stock. We'll bring it back up to City because Stock is no fun. But to show you how the bar graph works, let's go all the way to track mode. Now watch what happens to the vertical bar graph when we depress the pedal. The white portion of the bar graph displays your physical input. The red portion on top is what PedalMonster is adding. So you're seeing PedalMonster's addition in real time. It's the only throttle controller that shows you what it's actually doing. The same goes for the Derringer on the other side of the screen. But how do you control Derringer? You'll notice that we're in stock mode up in the right-hand corner, STK. To activate Derringer's control, simply push the back button, the arrow on the lower right-hand corner. You'll see that the right side of the screen lights up red. This means now you're controlling the Derringer. Using the up and down arrows, you can adjust the Derringer. Level 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Max power. And after you're done making adjustments, the iDash will default back to the left side of the screen. Once again, to control the Derringer, press the back button, which is on the lower right-hand corner, and it'll highlight the right side of the screen. Now you can use the up and down arrows to adjust your Derringer's power setting. And at about 35% throttle and beyond, you'll see how much power is being added by the Derringer tuner in real time. To change the gauges down the middle, we'll use the same method as we did with the previous layout. If you want to change engine coolant temp to boost pressure, simply enter the menu by using the right arrow, choose Gauge Selection. We'll select Field 1 Engine Coolant Temp to be replaced. Then we'll select Category, then up to Pressure, and then we'll scroll down to Boost Pressure. Back all the way out using the back button, and you'll see that we now have boost pressure in Field 1. Now, if you have a PedalMonster and no Derringer tuner, not to worry, we have a screen for you. Go to Gauge Layout and select PedalMonster. In this layout, you'll see two bar graphs. The one on the left displays your input, and the one on the right displays PedalMonster's addition. Now, this is just PedalMonster adjustment with no gauges. If you want PedalMonster control with gauges, we'll change the gauge layout to the PedalMonster Combo. Now you'll see the bar graphs on the left and 3 configurable gauges on the right. Let's go back to our Derringer PedalMonster Combo layout by entering the menu, then select Gauge Layout, and scroll down to Derringer PedalMonster and select it. That's our favorite screen because we can control and monitor both devices on the fly. To adjust the levels while driving, all you have to do is take your foot off the throttle for a moment and make your adjustment. Another popular feature of the iDash is its ability to read and clear trouble codes. Let's navigate to Diagnostics. Hit the right arrow and enter the menu. Scroll down to Diagnostics. Select it. Now you'll notice you can see diagnostics for the vehicle and every Banks device that you have connected to the system. Let's select Vehicle. Then select Check Vehicle Codes. It'll then speak to your vehicle's ECM and check for codes. And no codes found. If codes were found, it would display them. You can also recall previous codes. You can clear vehicle codes, and you can check your emissions readiness. And on some diesels, you can check injector balance rates while at idle. You can command a stationary regen in select trucks. You can command a mobile regen, and you can even reset your air filter system. You may find this feature handy if you happen to have a competitor's cold air intake that sets a check filter light on your dashboard. You can also display trouble codes for any Banks device. The iDash itself, analog sensor modules, the PedalMonster, and Derringer tuner. Do they have codes? Simply select them to find out. And we'll take a deeper dive on a later video, but you also have configurable alerts, minimum and maximum logs. You can set up a shift light for manual or paddle shifted vehicles. You can add or subtract Banks modules and configure them. Settings is a deep menu where you can choose your vehicle type, change all the colors of the iDash, text, background, bar graph colors for every page. You can enable custom screens, change screen and button colors and auto dimming, bar graph configuration, change from imperial to metric units, speed correction for larger tires, and backing all the way out to the home screen, you heard me say the words, other pages. The iDash allows you to configure and save 5 custom pages of up to 8 gauges per page. Simply press the back button for a few seconds and you'll see it flip to the next page. There you are, page 2. Hold the back button down again for 3 seconds and boom, page 3. One more time for page 4 and again for page 5. All can be configured to your liking. And back to page number 1. That's just a very brief overview of the iDash for Derringer and PedalMonster owners. We encourage you to sit in your driveway with the engine on and play with the iDash. It's the handiest tool in your truck.